Hi, I'm Corbin Chase. Welcome to Spiritual Health Expert Podcast. There is a holistic and spiritual remedy for everything. On this podcast, we talk with experts from various fields of life, health, and healing who prioritize integrative and spiritual approaches to wholeness and happiness. Let's talk about it. So I am an F45 junkie. I have exercised my whole life, and I have been on a very spiritual journey that has been leading me to question if F45 is still in alignment with the conscious and holistic lifestyle that includes my sensitivity to energy, if it's still in alignment. So recently I've been going to F45 and leaving my channel open, like my psychic channel kind of like wide open, which leaves me doing really weird things in the middle of class, like talking to myself and zoning out and losing track of what I'm doing.
Really?
And even Sean, like last night, because I kind of like turned it off when I went last night. Sean is one of the F45 instructors.
Yeah, Sean's a man.
And Sean looked at me and because like, I feel like he and I do like a joking bit. And he usually comes over and like makes a joke and we like joke around a little bit. And I haven't been into that. And I think they've just been looking at me like something's wrong with me. And today he comes over and I like snap right back the joke and he's like, "Hey, you're back."
Oh.
So like, I think it is pretty obvious when my channel's open. But anyway.
Curious.
So when I was in there, I actually ended up carrying my phone around with me to write notes about what I was feeling about being there.
So you're just in F45
With
taking notes? That's awesome. Oh.
Okay, so one of my insights
Yes.
is that when I'm at F45, I notice that the music is really disruptive for me. And what I wrote is, the music here at F45 feeds my fantasies and tempts me to step into false realities.
What about the music? What fantasies?
And so like, I know it's like all like, it's usually like pop, which is just about kind of like sex, love, and control, and more sex.
Yeah.
And things that aren't necessarily that realistic when it comes to love, I feel like. And it like tempts me to think about past partners that I've been working on, not thinking about. And
releasing, perhaps.
Yeah, it just like brings me, don't throw me a dig.
No. No, man. Yes, moving past.
Yeah, like the songs like just pull me back into this like fantasy world of where before I was more spiritual and conscious, I would just like let myself get lost in these songs of like imagining me with someone there and doing the things we're talking about in the song. And the effect that had on me was like made me confused about my reality in a lot of ways. And now I don't really listen to that music much anymore. And if I do, I'm like really conscious about it.
Yeah.
But when I'm there, that's what they play. And so I realized my brain like slipping, like wanting to go back into those thoughts. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if this music is that healthy for me and where I've evolved to.
I think that makes a lot of sense. I mean, when people are listening to that kind of music, they're like drinking, clubbing, like at bars, kind of stuff like that. It's sort of, I don't know, that music is typically associated with escapism.
Yeah, but I don't think a lot of people realize it. And one of the things I went through on my journey was cleaning up my energetic consumption, which like music is part of that. Like you have to consider, what is the frequency of the music? What are they talking about? What is the intention behind it? Because all of that is part of the energetic signature of the song. And you are consuming that. And you have to be careful about not getting lost in that. So essentially, you are consuming frequencies through music that are in discord with goals of like opening or healing the heart, for example. That's something to be aware of.
You are what you eat.
I do find that when I am at F45, I can kind of like shut out the music, but sometimes when I'm trying to have a sensitive day, the music is not helpful. Well, I guess one more thing to mention here is that as part of my like spiritual and consciousness development, my heart has been opening more. So like my sensitivity to energy of all kinds has increased. So food, clothes, situations, events, music. So if you're on a journey of doing that, then this music, you should feel more sensitive to the music. And so I started thinking when I was in there, I was like, okay, I feel my life in this transition. I'm exploring the idea without like stress or anxiety what if I did leave F45? This community of people I see every single day. If I do decide to leave F45, then there will be an element of grieving the community. And I'll need to leave like time and space for myself to do that, like responsibly managing my feelings.
Yeah.
It will be sad.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Been seeing these people for over a year now, right?
Yeah.
It's a community. Community is important.
Yeah, that's right. You can always, make space for something else. Like, I think that's the way to move forward.
Yeah.
If I let go, I just know that I'm making space for something else to come in. So as I've been starting this new practice of breathing in the biophotons from my bio field around me, one of my teachers was like, she had to leave CrossFit because she had a similar experience. And she's like, now I go to the gym, but now I breathe in from my Earth Star and I breathe in my biophotons with each and every rep. So she's like rejuvenating her cells and her energy every time she's exercising a muscle group, which is amazing. And so I've been trying to consciously do that in F45. And F45 is like an upbeat, like it's like kind of nuts. It's kind of like chaotic, but organized chaos. It's fun. That's part of what I like about it. But I try to like go inward and close my eyes, which nobody else is doing. And I like go down and I imagine myself connected to my Earth Star, and I breathe in the biophotons and I exhale and push myself up. And it's really hard to stay that focused in that environment. So that's another thing. So another insight that I had, I realized that I have a little bit of fear around letting go of this part of my identity. Like I was sitting with that, and like I like that I've built up the skill to do this where I can kind of observe myself without experiencing the fear. I'm like, oh, there is an element of fear here, but I don't need to like let that in yet because I haven't chosen how to handle it yet. I think that's where like psychospirituality comes in. So I wrote down here, I'm scared to let go of this part of my identity, but I know I will fill it in with something in more alignment. That's of more alignment, right? So it's like, I can't be scared to let it go because it's part of who I am, but I know that something else will fill it in, like we were just talking about.
Yeah. One community goes, another comes in.
Yeah. And when we moved here, and I was rebuilding myself from my separation with my ex-husband, and even like the whole phase of my life of like rebuilding myself after childbirth, I like really needed to throw anchors down of my identity. I felt really lost, and I was like, what are the basics of Corbin? And one of those was, I'm Corbin and I exercise. Like, what's something super solid about me in this world that's crumbling down? Hi, I'm Corbin and I exercise.
Yeah.
That was part of my identity. And when we moved here, I was like, immediately, I need to be, hi, I'm Corbin, I exercise somewhere close by to my new house. So I think that brings an extra element of like fear of letting go, because it has been one of the anchors of me as I've been moving through these transformations of self. So another like element of fear here is that, so what happens if I stop going to F45 and my body changes? And like sitting with the okayness about that too, and trust that it will all come into balance eventually, because that's like what my life is built around. So I was telling myself that I do accept myself. I am loved by myself and you, my partner, through all phases of my body. And it's okay for me to let go of that frantic, unhealthy need for fitness and being fit. Like, I'm not really sure where that came from, because it certainly didn't come from me. That came from outside of me. And so I need to like explore what type of exercise truly like feels good. And I actually don't even know if it's exercise as much as it's movement. Like, what takes the pressure off when I go to F45 is like, I am here to move my body.
Yeah.
And when I started like, go into the exercises like that, just like, I'm just here to play.
Yes.
And in F45, they make us do really silly things like jump on things and roll on the floor. And there is an element of like inner child in there, which I like.
Yeah.
I have this hunch that I can still be strong without this type of exercise that has to do with like breathing biophotons into my muscles as I work out. And I really want to do like a personal clinical study where I'm both like doctor and patient, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to stop at 45 and I'm going to do completely different kind of workout and breathe in the energy of these biophotons of light into my body intentionally. It's like a conscious no, it's not meditative. It's like a conscious energy work movement practice with weights.
Oh God, that sounds so cool. I was gonna say, I was like, if you want to just be doctor, I would be so down to be patient for this, and you could walk me through it for my workouts. But that, because I would be so into that. You're just like, I'm getting ready for a bench press. You're just like, all right, Alex, breathe them in. Well, how would I do that for like bench press or something like that? You know?
Okay, well, you first start by learning how to feel your energy and the energy body that's around you. Like, you need to be able to connect with your sun star that's right above your head and your earth star that's below your feet. And these energies connect to one another, creating your meridians. And where these energy lines cross are your energy centers. So you start by feeling into each of the energy centers. And then everybody can do this. Through your palms, you can begin to comb through your biofield and collect these biophotons that exist in your field. Collect them, bringing them towards closer to your body slowly. And then you push them into the body through the organs in the flesh, all the way into the center line for the energy to flush through and recharge. You kind of have to get a feel for the energy movement that's happening within and right around you in your aura. Once you can do that, and like for me right now, I can like close my eyes for a second and feel my meridian lines. I like am sensitive enough to feel them running down the middle of my body. And when I breathe in, I imagine myself collecting the biophotons, and then I exhale, they're like moving closer towards the center. Like I'm breathing them in through the actual skin, the density of what makes the body, because it's just denser energy. So when you're working out, what you would do is, let's say you're doing a squat. So you'd have the squat rack with the bar across your shoulders, standing there. Close your eyes for a second, safely, of course, and connect with your center line, your meridian. As you squat down, you take a big breath in. You're collecting the biophotons from your field in towards your body. And then as you exhale, that's like pulling those biophotons into the actual physical body, charging the muscles. Inhale, squat, breathe in the energy, and then exhale, it integrates into the muscles.
So yeah, I'm breathing in the photons, and they hit my body.
Biophotons.
The
energy.
And then when I'm exhaling, that's when like, all right, I'm engaging my back and my thighs. Like, am I?
Yes.
I'm visualizing them going there.
Yes, you think about the more. So the most potent way to work with energy is through intention. Like that is how you work with the metaphysical, is through intention. So the stronger your intention, the more clear the visualization you can have. So if you think about the exact muscle groups that you're wanting to charge and support during your exercise, the better. So let's say you're focusing on your glutes and your back muscles. You envision those, you stand up and you feel those muscles and you integrate the energy in with the exhale. I mean, what you're doing for your body is so amazing.
Or just with that practice? Or me individually?
I mean, in general, that type of like conscious energy work, for sure. But then as you exercise, it's like a supercharged exercise.
I'd be so down to try this. So like,
imagine after doing that for a while, how strong and charged and healthy your muscles would be. Like, it's such a new way of exercising that is like kind of how we're made to exist and how we're made to build muscle. And do you remember the other day we were talking about how I can energetically sense how your muscles, like what they're made of?
Oh yeah,
like your muscles have an energy signature. So like I look at some people's muscles and I can tell what they were built on. Like I can feel within my like body and like through my spiritual gifts, I can look at someone's muscles and be like, okay, this person is stressed. They built these muscles as a way to cope with a stressful period. The frequency is scattered. It's intense. As were other people's muscles, I can feel that they were built off of insecurity. They were trying so hard to fit in, essentially. And that's what the frequency of their muscles, like that's what their muscles have to say. That's the energy upon which they were built. For you, your muscles have an energy signature that's like, it is of joy. It is of like, you found your happiness. You found your stride. You weren't trying to be someone else. You were just enjoying the movement. Like they're really healthy, balanced muscles. So each and every day, all of the months and probably years you spent building your muscles, you were in a phase of life that was of personal power and joy. And
Want to squeeze them?
you were, yeah, you were finding your stride. But that's another reason why I like being wrapped up in them, you know? Like you can just tell, you can look people's eyes and be like, oh my gosh, they were built off of X, Y, and Z phase of life. So another thing on my list I've been questioning is, do I really want to push my body this way anymore? Asking myself that question opened like the floodgates for all other sorts of questions. Like, am I really loving and appreciating my human for how hard it works? Because I go in there and like some days it's like 150 burpees in 12 minutes. That's a lot on my body.
Yeah.
I also have kids. Picking up kids, changing diapers, getting up and down. That's a lot. And I never really stop and be like, oh my gosh, body, you have been doing so much. It's like, I am my body, but I'm also not my body. My body is my vehicle. I have the pleasure of having this body and living in it for a while. And I never stop and just be like, oh my gosh, you process all of these foods that I put in you every day. We drink alcohol. Like, you process that for me. Because that's, you know, in a way, sometimes a coping mechanism to like relax. But that's a hit on my body. You know I'm a grounding source for my kids when they're screaming. Like, their energy gets transferred into me to ground, and that's another hit on my body. Like, there are lots and lots of things that happen. And then I go to exercise class where it's good and healthy and gets me moving, but it's also a lot.
Yeah.
So like, it begs a bigger question of, how am I really existing in my body, and am I caring for it the way that I feel like is the most kind, the way I would care for my inner child? Am I caring for my body that way? And does F45 feel good? Is it the right template for me to push my body anymore? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've seen you every day. You work hard, and you rarely take a day off of F45.
Yeah.
It's high intensity. And like the exercise that you're talking about, breathing in the biophotons and like exercising with like a serious intention, is so much more slower. It's the opposite of F45. It's not just like go, 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 go. It is focus, careful movements.
I feel like I'm going in and out of phases of doing studies of how energy work affects my body. Just throughout my life, like, I'm constantly exercising and exploring my gifts in this way. And so I've been wondering, like, does exercise in this way impair those studies that I'm doing? Like, if I start off the day feeling like I'm at, let's say, 80% voltage within myself, and then I go to F45 and that depletes 30% of it, I'm at 50%. So then if I'm observing myself in these energetic ways throughout my life, consider that within the study. So I started thinking about pros and cons. I was like, all right, maybe like I have all these thoughts. What are some pros and cons? So one of the number ones on my list was the amount of laundry that I have to do in order to make sure that my exercise clothes are clean and ready to go. Like, that is a stressor for me.
Oh, that I didn't even think about that.
Like, can you imagine if I stopped going F45 and I didn't have to like clean all of my clothes all the time?
Oh my god.
Like, I wasn't always like, where's my sports bra? Where's my t-shirt? Are these dirty? Did I smell them? Like, can I get away with wearing these again? And then another one that threw me is like driving there. Sometimes driving there is a plus because that's the time I use to call people. But then I also am spending an extra half an hour in the car every day. So like, I don't know. Well, the last thing I wrote during class was, as I'm softening around my willingness to allow my body to be a natural result of my divinely guided life, I ask myself, this doesn't make sense now. Do I actually dislike my body as much as I thought? If we separate these, the first one is I'm softening around my willingness to allow my body to be a natural result of my divinely guided life. So I'm living a divinely guided life. Like that is what I've been working on, a holistic, divinely guided life.
Mm-hmm.
I am trying to allow, so soften and be willing to just be in flow with my life. And as a result, my body should be a natural result of that lifestyle. And if I'm living a holistic lifestyle that includes my emotions, relationship with self, my food, my energetic consumption of all types, my movement, all of it, then my body should be in balance and it should be healthy. And whatever shape that takes, I need to be okay with that. So then it begs the question, do I actually dislike my body as much as I thought? Because if my body is a result of a life that feels the most holistic and balanced to me, and this is the result, don't I just love it anyway? Like, isn't that just how it should be?
Yeah, and yes, absolutely. And like when you were saying that, I was like, oh, like if any point you didn't feel you didn't like your body, did you actually just not like your life?
Yeah, is it a part of my, I think that's saying that there's a part of my life that's out of balance.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting.
So like with my clients, when they're focused on weight loss, there's so many things you can do to help with weight loss, like hypnosis and eating, all these things. But my approach is always your body is a result of your life.
Mm-hmm.
So where in your life do you have discord? Where in your life are you overprotecting, or that like causes you to overeat, for example? What experience along your timeline is still affecting you today to cause this pattern of protection in the form of eating or fear of movement or whatever that might be, or just lack of self-love, which will seriously dampen your metabolism, you know? So if your body is a result of your life and you clean up your life holistically to function as like one big beautiful life, being healthy in all areas of your life, then like your body's just a result of all of those things. And then so whatever form then that your body takes, that is perfect. That is your truest form. That is your most holistic and pure form. I feel like that's the definition of like a healthy body.
Absolutely.
Because if your nervous system is in check, if your past experiences and all of those motions have been embodied and released, if you are actively recharging yourself with energy, if you are part of your community and buying local seasonal food and eating within the rhythms that our body exists in, if you're supporting yourself in every area, socially, financially, and everything feels in balance, your body will just be a perfect result. And that is like the way your body, like air quote, should, I don't ever like to use that word, but should look.
Yeah.
And then if you don't love it at that point, then there's still something else to look at, which I think I'm being confronted with,
Yeah.
because I've cleaned up so much of my life. I've been doing this work. That's what my book is about, of how to do this, how to live this life. And I still have body image issues. So I know that doesn't come from within me. It comes from something outside of me. So I need to look at that,
Yeah, because you eat clean, watch clean, listen clean.
Just like the outside stuff is the inside stuff too, though. Like going through and trying to open my heart and like embody some of the emotions that I stuffed in my biofield from childhood and past experiences. All of those things that clog our energetic system for purging and clearing out. And because of course those things affect our metabolism. Did you fart?
I farted a while ago.
Yeah, I heard it.
Yeah, it was a little baby one.
Yeah, it stinks.
It stinks? It's just coming over to you now?
Well, don't. Oh,
I just wanted to smell it.
don't air it out.
I just wanted to know. Air it out. I'm clearing
You just wanted to know?
I'm clearing the fartonic field, okay?
That is so insulting.
What?
To the biofield.
No, the biofield knows I love it, okay? The biofield also knows I love puns.
That's not a thing.
I have questions on this thought.
What?
What?
You just farted.
Just got over your
Stunk
fart.
up the whole place.
What?
All right, what's the question?
What I was going to ask is, so, because you said earlier, you were like, oh, I feel like it has to be something outside myself, but it sounds like it's something within yourself because you're still working through.
No, okay. it came from like the idea that I have this thing about me where unless I feel skinny and fit, I feel like I'm a failure. I certainly wasn't born with that thought.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Something along my life, it came from outside of me, either, from my parents or like, people pleasing, whatever, media, movies. It turned into a belief and a protection mechanism and a way to exist of like, unless I'm this way, I'm a failure. And that's what I mean. It came from the outside, and that took form as like a protection and a standard that is clearly outdated, but I'm clinging onto so deeply because I'm scared to let go of it,
Yeah.
But I'm like starting to massage it. No, now I have awareness about it. I have clarity about it. It's within my consciousness. I think about it almost every day, and I'm just like softening around it and seeing what tender feeling is underneath it. Where did it come from? Just like questioning it, taking care of myself in that way, mothering it. And eventually, it has loosened a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Which is great. Like, I've been massaging it.
Yes. Corbin, the amount of development that has happened in the last 7 months.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Like, for example, I used to be a chronic people pleaser. Everything was for how I thought I should, like, society would accept me the best. There was no room for Corbin. Like, this was when I was in corporate America. Everything I did was about showing up for however I thought everyone else needed me to be. I never asked myself, what do I even want to wear today? I was like, no, what would show up best? What would people like the most? And now, and this includes, like, I was a waxer for years. I waxed pretty much like my entire body every single month, because I would have dates with guys and I would cancel them because I'd be like, I am prickly in places and it's unacceptable. Like, I'm a failure because I am showing up that way. And now I am proud, very proud to say that I have not shaved anything on my body in months, like 4 or 5 months.
I can confirm this.
And this was me like rebelling. I also went through a phase of hair loss when I moved after my separation. I moved and my body just was really stressed. And it just feels like right on par. It's like I'm challenging myself to be in the most natural form that I can. I'm encouraging hair growth all over my body. I kind of feel like waxing feels really evil to do to my body now, and I'm like kind of grieving what I went through with that and what I did to myself, And there's something so primal about having all this body hair that feels right. Like, when I think about why we shave and stuff, I'm like, but why? Yeah. But why to keep it? I can think of like 5 to 10 to 100 reasons why we would want to have body hair. But I've been challenging myself to embrace it myself, let you see me with all this body hair. And I actually like it. I'm not at the point, like, for Thanksgiving, we went to your parents' house and there was a situation with like going to the tennis club, wearing a tennis skirt, and I was like, Alex's mom, I cannot wear shorts. Like, I am not ready to expose my legs at this level to the world. Like, but I am where I am.
Yeah. I hope she was accepting about all that.
It was fine. Yeah, it was good. She was supportive. She kind of just brushed it off, but it's fine. It's a big deal though that I even said it. Like, I was like, all right, I'm going through. I literally pulled. So I haven't seen Alex's mom in like at least a decade.
Yeah.
And it's like the first time re-meeting the parents kind of thing in this like new way of our relationship. And I had to pull her aside and be like, her name is Dunya. Dunya, I'm going through this like body thing where I'm trying to grow out my leg hair and she's really long and I'm just not comfortable. The fact that I was even like brave enough to tell her and pull her aside what to tell her I have really hairy legs and that's why I can't abide by the club's rules and wear a skirt. Like, I'm so proud of myself.
I am so proud of you. I am so proud of you. That is, to be able to do that, I'm very proud of you.
Yeah.
Like, God.
I don't know what I'm going to do this summer. Like, I've already started thinking about it. Because, like, I'm like, I really don't want to shave.
Don't.
But I really don't want to let anyone see how hairy my legs are. Like,
This is a perfect. This is a perfect opportunity of challenge.
I
like
was already
this.
thinking, like, maybe we should take a vacation to somewhere cold in the summer.
Oh my god.
Part of me subconsciously was like, did I move to Maine so I could hide my body and wear pants all the time? I mean, no, I don't think that might be like a fraction of the truth, but the point is,
yes.
like, I'm challenging myself to like just be and do what feels right. And I'm still nervous about it sometimes, but it feels really good. But now there is like that element of grief of the things I used to do to myself to conform. All those years I spent not expressing Corbin and my unique self is sad. Those are years I didn't get to know myself. And I'm grieving that. And like I'm not mad, it's sad. Yeah, there's just grief that goes along with that.
Yeah.
But it feels wholesome to think about it that way and process it, and then I feel free from it.
Yeah. I want you to feel free. I want you to feel free.
And you know what really helps with the body hair is having a partner that also sees and values body hair on women. You also don't conform to like, I expect you to have no hair.
Yeah.
To you, like we've talked about this, you're like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like you think it's weird when there's no hair anywhere.
I do. It's very strange. And I want you to like when I also,
like you feel more evolved as a man, because I've been with men who like will be like, what?
Yeah.
No, I'll be like, oh, I think I want to try growing out my armpit hair this month. So it'd be like just not long at all.
Yeah.
And their face would be like, oh. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? We're all humans. Why do you get to grow yours out? Like, why do I have to shave mine?
Well, that's what I think about. I'm like, the amount of pain to go through that, the amount of time that is spent going through that. And when I think about it, and like I have a limited perspective on this, but when I think about it, the only reason, if I were in your shoes, the only reason that I would do that would be either to minimize chafing or for men. Like, that's it. That's it. And that's not a decision
That's right. You know what? That reflects my like whole sexual approach almost my entire life was like, how can I please the man? It wasn't how can I please myself? And almost no men that I've been with have really taken the time to, there've been a few, but to really care about my experience. It's always been about the penis. And yeah, that's it really. You know? Yeah.
Yeah. The vaginal canal deserves the love.
It does.
It does. It does.
Yeah, the vulva.
The vulva.
Yeah, Alex and I have been talking about like what is the actual proper terminology and educating ourselves about it, because that's an important piece.
That's
like
true.
We can't just call it a pussy. There is so much more intricate, and it deserves so much more honor than that.
Oh yeah.
And it's actually a turn on now when you like talk about the specific parts that were.
Oh my gosh. I know now that your lips and your labia are two separate things.
Oh God. But it's like, also, I deserve that. I deserve for you to know and talk about them like they're their own separate amazing things.
They are. Yeah. Well, they are a part of the amazing thing that is you. And they are in themselves amazing. They are not. I don't view them as separate. Yeah. It's just I'm learning the individual amazing.
Well, I think a lot of guys, I mean, just like look at a vagina or whatever, like a vulva. They look at the whole thing and they'll be like, "That's a pussy." But I'm like get it fucking together. If I was ever with a guy, we woke up like 3 a.m. last night and talked to this. I was like, if I was ever with a guy who didn't understand the intricacies of my vulva and my body parts, and also understood the phases of the menstrual cycle at bare minimum, I could not be bothered. Like, there's nothing about you that would make me want to become intimate with you at all.
Oh, by the way, how's the beginning of your luteal phase, my love?
It's good.
Good.
I mean, yeah. I had 3 bowls of rice this morning, so. But similarly, I don't think it's only fair to put this on guys. I think women also need to educate themselves about their bodies in a deep way and demand that respect and attention from themselves as well as their partners.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think there's a lot of finger pointing at men, which,
in a lot of
that
ways
needs to happen.
yeah.
But there also needs to be a level of responsibility for women to hold the masculine structure for men to step into their feminine in this way.
Yeah, it's not I think the point isn't to separate more. It's to come together on this. It's like, guys.
Sorry.
I wish that was a pun. You are. Oh my God. I'm gonna visit your vaginal canal later.
Stop.
But oh God, now I'm stuck on the pun. That was so funny. I wish that was a pun. Okay, so but we're coming together is in like, guys I know would be, if as a guy, my partner comes up to me and it's like, you need to learn this shit. I'm like, okay, you got it. Like, I got it. Just point me in the right direction. No, like how this began, you told me. So I remember early on in our relationship, you were telling me about, terms about your menstrual cycle. And I didn't know. And you were like, you need to know this. You were like, we have 2 daughters. Like, you need to know this. And it really hit me. And I was like,
well, and for me.
No, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
It was like, like all of that together. I was like, yeah, like I do need to know this. I'm like, my goal is like, not my goal, but like one of the things I really want to do is I want to thoroughly understand and know you, to connect with you on the deepest level possible. And your experience that you've been dealing with for over a decade, almost 2 decades with your menstrual cycle, that's a huge part of it. And so that understanding the importance to you gave me permission to really look into it, and you've helped me along the way. Also,
your mom has had a menstrual cycle her whole life. Your sister, people you work with, like, women have menstrual cycles. They're constantly going through hormonal changes, and that experience needs to be acknowledged. Like, if you had a menstrual cycle, I know that I would be like, I'm going to map this out. I'm going to know everything about it because I care about your experience as a human, and I think a lot of women would be nurturing automatically like that. Like, we wouldn't be like, that's gross. Like, yeah. I'd be like, what does that mean? I'm like, oh my gosh, it's connected to the moon. There's so much to learn there. And like, this is why I change throughout the month, every single month. And so if you hadn't been like, yeah, this is a serious gap in knowledge for me, and really genuinely cared, like, we wouldn't be together. Yeah. Like 100%. No, I get like that. Those are my standards. Yeah. Now. And our daughters are going to know that. Yes. As well. That's how they're going to be raised. Yeah, well, they deserve that. You deserve that. Like, that is something. And if I was someone who didn't feel that you deserved that, like, I wouldn't be a good partner. If anyone, and like, yeah, this is judgment, but like, if anyone out there is like, my partner doesn't deserve for me to understand them, you're a bad partner. No, we don't judge. We don't, but I just did. And you're right. It's not good, but like, but for real. Now your homework is you need to look at that, because we don't judge. You need to go look at where you can accept that within yourself. Yes. Okay. But yes, to the people who don't find that a priority, it is something seriously to look at. Yeah. And where I think it can start is for women to start setting that standard for themselves. Because I'll tell you what, if you're going to, not put out because you're like, you haven't learned the menstrual cycle yet, it would kick men's butts into gear. You shouldn't have to go that far, but, like, yes. Come on. None of this is ever coming from, like, we're doing something wrong. No. I just think, like, there's such an opportunity to do it better and bring us all closer together within our human experience. Yeah. I mean, like, going through that cycle monthly is tough. And like, oh, let me bring this full circle, if that's okay. Of course. Because when I go to F45, one of the head coaches there, it was amazing. The whole staff is just like, oh my God, I love them all. But Sean is one of the head coaches, and he comes over and he's like known for pushing people, which I appreciate. Because, like, there's quite an element of F45 that's like, I'm there to be babysat while exercising, you know?
Yeah.
And they do such a good job. So he'll come over and be like, those 28s would look much better as 33s or something, you know? And it works. It's great. He does push me, but, like, I know that some days I go in there and I'm like, I am really bloated and feeling very sensitive in my womb area. So, like, I don't want to do a burpee, so I am going to do my own thing. And sometimes, like, lovingly, you know, they'll poke at me for doing something different. And I just feel very, like, unseen sometimes in that setting where it's like, I am on I don't exercise on the first day of my period, but maybe I'm on day 3. And my period might be coming, you know, the next day. And I'm working out and my body's just more fragile. It's bloated. It's tired. Like, I'm tired. So the exercise looks different. And not feeling like I have to compete with everyone else in the class. Or I'm like, do men even think about how women come in during all different parts of their cycle? Because there are women who go like every single day. Yeah, that's another part of the environment where I feel like that's a con.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I don't wear shorts anymore because I don't want to see my hairy legs.
Oh.
Like, I literally don't know if I'll ever get to the point where if I can go in there with shorts and be like, yes, I'm one of those girls. I have very hairy legs. Like, I just don't know.
You should go in and they should applaud.
Oh, God.
That, but what a milestone that would be.
I don't think I could do it. Like, I feel like everyone will be looking at me.
I believe in you. Who cares? Let them look. Let them admire the bravery, the strength, the pride in your own body. Let them just sit there and bask in it.
Okay, so clearly this is where I'm at with it. But I've come a long way. I have ways to go.
You've come so far.
I can't just wear pants all summer at F45.
No, you can't. You can't. You're thinking,
good thing it's to see. Yeah, I'm like, I have to get more pants. I'm gonna, oh God. Good thing it's only December. I have until like May.
You got like
here in Maine.
6 months of personal growth.
Imagine how much longer it's gonna be in May.
Oh my gosh. Wow. I can't wait. Oh my gosh.
Maybe if this video gets enough comments, I'll post a picture of my legs on social media.
Oh, everybody, please comment like nuts. Please go crazy on that.
If you have any thoughts on this, please share.
Comment for pictures of Corbin's leg hair, please.
Alex and I will start incorporating questions.
Did you just fart?
No, I didn't, Alex.
Okay, go ahead.
I didn't. God, I'm doing the close.
Do the close.
Head over to my social media at Spiritual Health Expert to engage, ask questions, comments. I try to respond to as much as I can. So I was in F45 recently. Okay, and then I feel like we can trail from there.
Okay. All right.